Hi, welcome back to my channel. This is Jennifer Scrapping King. Today I'm sharing a double 8.5 by 11 layout. This is for Scrapbook Generations, Allison Davis's design team. I am going to use two cut files, Splash of Joy, and this one here that is also a splash, but it's separated. And I used that one before. This time I'm going to use it again in a different way. I have a few photos here of my son playing in the water. I have four that are 2x3, one 3x4, and then two 4x6s. I have some enamel dots that are left over from the 49 Market Sunburst collection. That was the ultimate kit. This is the die cuts that I have left of that kit. I don't have very much left, and I'm going to kind of struggle to embellish the layout. But you'll see what I decide to do in the end, and I like the way that it turns out. I think it highlights the photos very well. So here I have more laser cuts. These were separate packages that I had purchased. And then I have rub-ons from, I believe it's called Kaleidoscope. This was another like water type collection. I believe it came out the year after the Sunburst one. So they're a couple of years old. You can find bits and pieces of them online, but I'm just trying to use them up out of my stash. So I have lots of scraps, as you can see, and scraps work really well when you're working with a cut file. And I also have 6x8 papers, and then I will have two 12x12s, which are going to be my background paper. I'll show here in a minute. But mainly I have lots of scraps because, like I said, they're good to back the cut file. And I wasn't sure how I was going to back the cut file, if I was going to go with all one color or different colors. I decided to do all the water the darker blue, this one here. And then I'm going to do the letters Splash of Joy in 3 different colors. And then this is the background paper that I chose. I think it works really well for water paper. And I'm going to put it together so it'll look like it's one solid piece. The opposite side I'm not going to use at all. This green paper actually does not get used. It gets put to the side, and I end up using the scrap green paper instead. That was just my choice. This one here is like a lighter blue but matches perfectly, and I will use that to mat a couple of photos. So here's the cut file, all cut, still on the mat, just so you can see it. I already have it cut out. The Splash of Joy I cut out so it will fit across the layout, so it's an 8.5 by about 3 or 4 inches. And then the other one I cut so that I could place it on the opposite side. So I wanted lots of water splatters because he's just running around in, it's a walk-in pool. So he's in the water, but he's not in deep, deep water. And it's actually a wave pool. So there's water coming out in big giant waves, kind of like the ocean. And he's just playing around in the area that he can actually touch in. He had so much fun just running around in this water and seeing the big waves come out. So here I'm matting the photos. I matted the first one on green, and then another little one on green, a blue one. I have 2 blue ones. And then this one here is yellow, I believe. Oh no, that's the orange one. And then I will have 2 on yellow. I only did 1 on orange, and that's because the word splash is going to be in orange, so it's going to be a big like center point of the layout. So I didn't think I needed another photo, plus I didn't have another photo, so I did 2 of them in yellow, 2 in green, and then 1 in orange. So the yellow one I had to piece together because I didn't have a piece big enough to mat the photo. But it's okay, you can't really tell when you do this if you piece it together behind the photo. Just make it look like a frame, make it look like, you did it on purpose if you can tell. If you can't, then distress the edges and call it good. That's what I did here. I did distress the edges of all of them. I also matted each photo on white cardstock so that I could distress the white cardstock. So I'm going to start laying out the photos, show you where they're going, and then I'll give you a rough idea of how I do the cut file. But then you'll see here in a minute, I'm going to cut away and I'll come back. And I did this over the course of 2 days. So I had enough time to like back the cut file, get everything prepared, but I didn't have enough time to actually embellish and get it put together. So that was the second day prep. And usually that's what I do is sometimes I don't have a whole lot of time. I only have a few hours here and there. And sometimes some layouts just take a little longer than others, especially when you're working with cut files. In all of the water, I had to cut or trace and then cut because I didn't have my silhouette cut it out. I could have, but I just didn't. So here you can see I'm just trying to figure out where all these water droplets are going to go. They're not going to go exactly where the cut file was, but that's the good thing about cut files is, you can place them exactly how it shows or you can move them around. So with this one, I moved them around since I had more photos, and I also used 2 cut files instead of 1. But I wanted lots of the water splashes. So I think it turns out pretty good. So here you can see I'm laying out all the embellishments where I'm going to lay them. I decided to go with those yellow flowers since I have quite a few of them left. And I'm going to use a little blue seahorse and a green turtle. And I just think that's kind of cute. I think it was perfect for these photos. Like I said, I want to showcase the photos more than anything because he just had a lot of fun playing in the water. So here I'm splattering white acrylic paint. I don't want to get it on the photos, so I have the photos turned the wrong way, and I just splattered all around. I did go ahead and do the left-hand side off screen, not on purpose. My camera died, and I only had enough time to get this put together, so I was like, well, I guess I'll go ahead and put it together and then come back in and start doing the right-hand side on camera. I also brought in that wordy newspaper print paper, and I inked all the edges of it. I tore it, and then I'm going to place it around the edges. And I just like the way it looks. I think it's perfect for like a mixed media type background like this one. And it gives you a beginning and an ending. So, you can start at the edge and you end at the edge. So I think it helps keep your eyes centered on the photos. So here I have this other 4x6, which I'm going to place here. I placed the 3x4. You can see I have 2 of the 2x3s over on the left-hand side along with the other 4x6. And if you remember, I did another layout with that 4x6 picture that is on the left-hand side. It's actually a different picture. I know he looks almost exactly the same in both of them, but it's okay. It's still one of my favorites. So I'm okay with repeating it in his album. I needed that extra page because I had space in his album that I wasn't able to fill with another layout. Since I want everything to be chronological order, it was okay. I needed that extra photo. And since it's one of my favorites, it's okay that one of them has its own layout, and then I have this one on the double page. And I will separate them in the album so they won't be right by each other, but, it's okay. I do this more for, to have a creative outlet and, just a little mental break. I have fun creating all the layouts. So I don't care that, I'm repeating some of the photos. It's okay. So here I'm adding the rest of those little water drops and trying to decide where one more can go because I don't want to just throw one away. I'm going to put this rub-on right on the photo, and it just says good vibes in the sunshine. I thought that was kind of cute. It adds a little pop of black over here. And I think the little pop of black helps bring your eyes back to the photo also because of his dark hair. And then his bright swimsuit along with his little swim vest and all that is the rest of the bright colors that I used on the layout. So over here I put a little piece of like seaweed, and then I'm going to put the seahorse on top of that. So I didn't want to put it blue on blue, but adding the green and the yellow behind it, you can see the seahorse. And then I put the little turtle over there by Good Vibes along with more flowers. And then I'm going to put another set of flowers over here on this splash mark and one down at the bottom by the photo. And then I put one up there at the top by the top photo. I was making sure everything was glued down. And now I'm just going to go in and add enamel dots wherever I think they look good. And I'm putting them in clusters of 3 using 3 different sizes. And I'm going to put them basically where the flowers are. So if there's flowers, I put 3 more dots around by those flowers. Here's a little bit of a closer look. I hope you guys enjoyed today's layout. I definitely had fun creating this one, and I love using the cut files from Scrapbook Generations. I think they are really great, and more are coming out each month. And these ones are some of the fun ones that came out for summer. I can't wait to see what she brings out for fall, or what her son brings out, Drew. I know he's the one creating them. So here is a few little close-ups so you can see up close. I did pop up a few of the flowers on play foam also, and that was just to add just a little bit of dimension. I don't want to add too much. So I just popped up a few of the little flowers and the seahorse and the turtle. And I hope you guys enjoyed today's layout. I definitely had fun creating it and using the digital cut files. I'll leave a link down below for Scrapbook Generations. They also have a lot of different collections and more cut files. Bye!